Greetings to everyone. My name is Russ Hatfield, and I'd like to introduce my twin soul, Kara, who's a higher-dimensional member of Ashtar Command stationed on Hades Base. This latest lesson on coercion is being channeled by Kiri through Mark Crocker and is called The Mechanics of Coercion. We get into some deep areas in this subject thanks to Kiri, who explains the use of this skill from her perspective. That is, describing the brainwave patterns she sees in the person she is coercing to know what to manipulate. In the 20 minutes of our conversation, she simplifies the process for us down here to use a similar method. You can follow our transcript at the link below of our homepage, centerforascension.org. Please subscribe if you want at the end of this video to be alerted to future challenge sessions, editorials from Kara and myself, and lessons from the Center for Ascension. And now, the mechanics of coercion.
Okay, now let's get down to seriousness for the moment. Okay, let's sidestep issues of horniness. Let's sidestep issues of projects. Let's sidestep web pages and go straight to something that should be entertaining for all of us. Okay, that is coercion. Oh, and your coercion exercises.
What coercion exercise? Oh, yeah, right.
What? Skip, is it my imagination, or does he have the attention span of a gnat?
I scored twice in 2 days on that, so I'm doing good.
Uh-huh. Am I impressed?
I was impressed myself.
Okay. You want to see coercion? You want coercion, huh? Okay, let's have a closer look at coercion and the purposes. What have we covered so far in all our years of inane rambling?
Well, basically the differences between positive and negative coercion are the biggest things we've covered and gone over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. And also the morals.
Yeah, the morals, of course.
And the reasoning why you should and should not use coercion in certain situations.
Right.
We've also covered how to coerce.
Oh, yeah.
We've also covered why to coerce.
Yeah.
Okay. Now then, let's look at something we haven't covered. The actual mental process. I'm not talking about the how to, I'm talking about what actually happens in the mind. The mind of the person that you're coercing. How do you make the brainwave patterns alter? Okay, we can talk about energy fields and things that you wouldn't understand. Or maybe you would. Do either of you guys know what the energy waves are that are produced by the subject's mind?
Well, we've gone over it before with various speakers.
Mm-hmm, but not in coercion. That's one thing we haven't covered. Okay, the way that the mind, the wave patterns of their mind, the subject's mind works, is that in actual fact, you can tell when somebody's been coerced if you can see their mind waves or brainwave patterns. As long as you can see patterns and know that they're not natural patterns, you can tell that the person's been coerced.
Yeah, one person I've seen be able to do that, though, is Treebeard and a little bunny.
Mm-hmm. The little horn dog or horn rabbit. Okay, now, when they talk about brainwaves and the way that the patterns and waveforms occur, right? Now, for example, let's say you, Skip, are coercing Russ, and you are being very clever about it and using my kind of coercion, total mental coercion, without using speech. Now, the fact that I could look at Russ and go, okay, brainwave waveforms, yes, wait a second, those aren't Russ's wave forms. Those are very close to what Skip's look like. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That somebody that's been coerced, you can see that they're being coerced by the change in their wave patterns of their mind. Now, it doesn't have to be in close proximity. Let's say you're as talented as I am. Yes, I am being conceited with my coercive ability. Let's say I am outside and down the street, but I'm focusing my mind on Russ's mind. Victim. Okay, so Russ's wave patterns gradually change to something similar to mine. Not totally like mine, because to do that, I would basically be turning Russ into an automate, and he would have totally no free will to do anything. I'd have to regulate everything, including its breathing, its heart rate, muscle movements, digestive tract, everything. So to totally take over control means basically I take possession of the body, which means that I'm totally focused in on Russ's and not my own body and taking care of my own needs. So, most people don't do that. I say most. There are a few people that do it for various reasons, some of them positive, some of them negative. But the fact remains that the brainwave patterns change to look very similar to mine, but not totally like mine. Because everybody has different brainwave patterns, just as they have individual ribs and retinals and so on. No two people are totally identical. Not even twins are identical in their brainwave patterns and their retinal scans and their fingerprints and their DNA. There is always a little bit of a difference. So, that's how you tell how somebody's been coerced, where they're being coerced from. If you can recognize the brainwave patterns that are similar to the person coercing the victim, then you are able to track down and narrow down who is coercing. Now, let us say that I am coercing something that is on a lower intelligence level, like the feline. Okay, the feline's brainwave patterns are so radically different from mine that I do the dominating effect. The dominating effect is where I use sheer willpower and energy for the cat to obey. Now, you've all seen me do that. That is sheer stubbornness and power. Raw, coercive power. There's nothing subtle about it. There is nothing skillful about it. It is just sheer dominating coercive power. Okay, got any questions?
How do we see brainwave patterns?
It takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of time. To give you the very, very simplified version, is that you get to know the person, the way that they behave. This is a three-dimensional one. How they react to certain situations and how they would react to other situations. Now, knowing the person, you know how they react. So you can watch their body language for anything that is different and unusual. Now, to actually see the brainwaves takes a lot of skill and practice, and something that I don't think you can do on the third dimension. But how it is done up here is basically looking directly at the head and seeing the auric image. Now, once you can focus in on the auric image, you can actually focus in much finer and see the differences and the patterns within the different layers of the aura. Now, the patterns within the top part of the aura, of the head, are basically like little waveforms that you'd see on the oscilloscope. They go like this, and it's very thin and fine, and there's the differences in colours of the aura. There's a little line in between each one which corresponds to the brainwave activity. Now, the average person, if you focus in on the head, on the aura of the head, will have about 60 to 100 different shades of one colour. And within each shade, if you focus in tightly on it, you'll see a little line dividing each shade. Those little lines are the brainwave activities. And as it radiates out all the way around, you will see the various waves and activities. And they are fairly constant depending on the situation, the emotional status. For example, let's say, picking on our favourite subject tonight, Russ. Let's say Russ is in a happy, giddy, youthful type mood. Now, by looking at his brainwave patterns, I would be able to deduce that he's in a happy, giggly, boisterous, boyish type behaviour. Because it would be very rapid lines. Now, if Russell was totally the opposite, sad, depressed, fed up, bored, tired, you would see a much flatter waveform. It'd still be bumpy, but it'd be much flatter. Much more suppressed with his suppressed state of mind. Which brings me to my next little bit of coercive tidbit. It is easier to coerce somebody when they're in a lowered state of emotions, action, activity, mood. Now, when is that most common?
Or sleep.
Before and during sleep. Sleep is when an individual is the most vulnerable. Because everything is switched off. Everything is running on bare minimum. So, what do we know? Okay, what have we covered?
Brainwaves and coercion.
And how to recognize when somebody's being coerced and when somebody's at their most vulnerable.
Okay. Question. Can you? My coercion is verbal. By using reverse psychology, I coerce people into doing things.
I have a question for you. How do you tell when you're being coerced?
Well, if somebody is good, you can't.
Right, well, we're down here, so how do you tell when you're being coerced?
Okay, because you're doing something that you wouldn't normally do. Or you're doing something that is against your beliefs. Or you're doing something that suddenly popped into your mind that felt like a really good idea that you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, but how do you determine that, distinguish that from a wild hare?
A wild hare? I'm not familiar with that term.
Okay, a thought pops into your mind by your own volition. Okay.
Okay, that boisterous side of your nature.
Yeah.
How you would deal with it is maybe it's something that you don't want to do. Now, do the erroneous thoughts that you have occasionally that make you do wild things. Most of them are more enjoyable, correct? A little bit mischievous, you get a kick out of it. Now, if you don't,
somebody's put it there for you.
What about, like, say, sex? Like what? Sex. You know, someone's trying to coerce you into having sex with them. And you really want to have sex with them, but you really know better. But you just can't help yourself. You just want to have sex with this person. It's only something you want to do, though you know better. But it's hard to tell if that's you or them. I mean, is it your stupidity or their coercion?
That sounds more like a bit of both. I've yet to come across anybody that would knowingly have sex with somebody that they didn't really want to for whatever reason, even though that they really wanted to, but they know better. Somebody that does that either doesn't know better, doesn't think of the consequences, or is being coerced, or all three. Now, it only works if it is the combination of all three. You really want to know better, but you really don't care that you know better and you want to do it anyway. And they want you to do it as well. That is when it works most effectively, the coercion, because you really want to do it, but you know better, but you really don't care.
Right. Or salespeople. Our best coercers down here are salesmen. And you really want to buy it. You know, it sounds great. You'd like to try this and buy this, but you God, it's kind of out of my price range. But I really like to buy. This guy sounds really convincing.
Mm-hmm. Now, you talking about people in your communication, on your entity?
No, actually, just people who walk in or you meet on the street.
Mm-hmm.
I had one the other day who sold me big time, but I got what I wanted. She got what she wanted, but she's a hell of a good coercer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now those people work one-on-one. I would say that they're good coercers. They're not great, not by the standards on your planet.
Right.
Now, who are the great coercers on your planet?
Politicians.
That's right. A lot of them are politicians.
Sure, and that's another one where you really want to book with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they don't stand for a few things that maybe you do.
Mm-hmm.
But
they talk up a hell of a storm.
Talk about a hell of a storm, and they really got great charisma. They make a great whatever they want to run for.
Now, would you say that I have great charisma?
Sure.
Okay. Would you say that I carry myself with a lot of confidence?
Oh, yeah.
Would you say that I have great poise?
No.
You wouldn't? No. What makes you say that?
Because I compare you to Kara. Kara has great poise.
Mm-hmm. But Kara gets flustered.
Yeah, but she has great poise.
Mm-hmm. But she gets flustered. Do I get flustered?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. I do get flustered, but not very often.
I don't know. See, I don't deal with you except on, just the channeling sessions, so it's not quite the same. All I know is, I'm comparing with somebody I do know who has great poise, and, against her, you don't have great poise.
Oh, great poise when Munker and Ashtar was here. Okay, we will proceed. No, I don't call that great poise. I call that being a little bit nervous and jumpy. Great poise is being able to walk into a room wearing a backless, braless dress, full length, and know that everybody's going to turn and look at me. And whether or not my headlights are on, I've got to walk upright, proud, and smile. You've seen me do that.
You were the mistress for that session, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how was your poise that night.
Did I get flustered?
Can't remember.
No, I did not. But you remember the inauguration ball?
Yeah, I was there.
How I walked down the stairs and everything, and I was wearing a very nice dress, a little bit short in the front, but very nice. No straps, no bra.
I don't know, I was watching Kara.
Mm-hmm. But points.
Well, yeah, like I said,
confidence.
I just take your word for it.
Yes, confidence, poise, keeping a cool head, being a little bit conceited, knowing that, yes, I am good. Those are the key markings of a coercer. Confidence. Confidence is very important. Poise. Not being able to get flustered. Because you have to be focused if you're coercing. If I wanted, I could run for an office just on my poise, my confidence, and my lack of flusterability alone. The fact that it doesn't appeal to me is something that is irrelevant. I could do that. Okay. No questions?
Nothing.
Skip.
Well, I was going to give you a case in fact that happened here not too long ago.
Okay.
About your sex example.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Well, a gentleman that's father to my grandson's buddies
Mm-hmm.
Got coerced into doing sex with a married lady that's got kids of her own. And after it happened, she yelled rape.
That's not good.
Well, they got coerced into it.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that? Is it possible that it wasn't the little head talking?
No. He went over to get his money because he works for her husband. And she told him to come in. And when he walked in, she threw the covers back and she's completely nude.
I still say that could be the little head talking at that point.
You haven't seen this lady.
Like I said, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that happened, and he went to jail.
But that's something that needs to be, looked at on your planet, because it does happen too often.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I could come down to your planet and decide that I needed a good thrilling and enjoy myself tremendously, and then turn around and scream, rape, and kick up a hell of a storm. And then the person who did it would go to jail on
That's
my
right.
word alone.
Yep, because it's your word against theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. You have to know when you're being coerced. And if you are, I mean, good shielding will help you, but at some point, you're going to have to be able to exert control over that coercion. And you have to recognize you're being coerced.
It's all 3 points that came up. You want to, you know better, than stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But who gets them, there'll be a find out. Okay. Any more questions?
No.
Any more comments? Okay.